Imagine feeling valuable no matter how much work you've done, how hard you work, and how much you do for others. My name is Fantana Shatamsa, and I'm the founder of Sacred Lotus Holistic Wellness. I help women activate their body's natural ability to heal and process trauma by practicing somatic healing and nervous system regulation. I'm a mom of three and an entrepreneur, and for years I kept repeating the same patterns, the same cycles in my love, in my relationships, in my finances, in my career. And I was a high achiever, high performer, and this was based on childhood trauma and the fact that I could not trust anybody around me. So I figured that I had to do everything for myself. And so this is how I measured my value and my worth, by how much I could do and how much I could perform. Even when I looked super successful on the outside, I was super anxious on the inside. No matter how much I worked, it was never enough. I was exhausted, I was burnt out, and extremely resentful. I only started to heal when I started to look inward and realizing that my value and my worth was not measured in how much I could produce. And now I help other women do the same, break free from the productivity trap and realize that you are valuable and you are worthy beyond what you do just by being who you are. So many of us were taught directly or indirectly that our worth was measured in how much we could do and how much we could perform. Maybe you were, the first daughter, firstborn, and so you always had to be the caretaker and thinking about everybody else and putting everybody else's needs above your own. Maybe you became a mother at a really young, early age, and so you've been a mother your whole life and always had someone else to think about. Maybe you had to be a caretaker for your family or your relatives, and you were just always labeled the hardworking, responsible one, the easygoing one who always, was self-sacrificing and always put everybody's needs above her own. And so over time, your nervous system started to believe that my needs don't matter, and I put everybody else's needs above my own, and that I need to work hard and to produce in order to be valuable and to be worthy. This is not your fault. It's not even your parents' fault or your family's fault. This is literally a societal structure. And so how does this show up in our body? When our worth is tied to productivity, this can show up as constantly feeling anxious or on edge, difficulty eating, sleeping, resting, constantly feeling like you have to be on and on alert, always like bracing for impact, like you're constantly vigilant. You have to constantly, think of what's next, who's coming. You have to predict threats and predict, issues before they actually arise. So you're always in that fight or flight state. You might start overcommitting, people pleasing, finding it really hard to set boundaries and say no. You begin to struggle to receive help or ask for help. You start to measure your days by what you actually got done or didn't get done versus how you actually feel. And then all that anxiety and tension and high cortisol in your body, that gets turned into physical pain that you might just have normalized over time. So this might be, racing heart, chest pain, headaches, achy joints, inflammation, and you're just brushing it off as, it's just a little bit of stress or it's not a big deal. But here's the thing, your body cannot heal and it cannot rest if it's in constant fight or flight survival mode. Meaning it's really going to be difficult for you to boost your immune system, to recover from illnesses, to fight off sickness, for your body to be in a homeostatic state. And so wires are going to be firing off all the time, and you cannot even rest even when you're resting. Even when you're sleeping and your body is supposed to be in repair mode and rest and digest mode, it's still constantly on and fighting and trying to produce. The real healing and self-worth and self-value come when you begin to rest. It comes when you enter your receiving mode. You're able to receive and open up and, take help and take, compliments and feel like you deserve rest without any of the guilt and shame attached to it. So when you start practicing nervous system regulation, when you start saying to yourself, I am worthy of rest, I don't have to produce, I am able to take a break. I am valuable just by being, not just by what I'm doing. I can take a break. The world is not going to end. I deserve a soft life. And when you pair that with somatic healing, so things like breath work, movement, yoga, really gentle practices, dance, stretching, When you practice the nervous system regulation with the body healing, you're actually able to reduce that fight or flight response, reduce that cortisol response, and actually begin to heal your body, heal your nervous system, process those old stories, process those old emotions, process that trauma, and really begin to heal from the inside out. And then your body begins to learn a new story, right? I deserve rest. I don't need to constantly be producing. I am enough. I am worthy of love and care and rest. Just because I exist, I don't have to do anything or be performative or, just produce all the time or constantly be overworking or hardworking. Just by existing, I deserve rest. I am worthy of softness. I am worthy of an easy life. And so just really quickly right now, what you can do is just take a moment, place your hand on your heart and take a few deep breaths in through your nose and out through your mouth. No shallow breathing. When you inhale through your nose, feel your chest rise. And when you exhale, feel it all deflate. One more time, in through the nose and out through the mouth. What we're going to say here is, I am worthy of rest. I deserve to feel safe. I deserve a soft life. I don't need to work hard. I don't need to be performative. I can just lean back. I am ready to receive. I am open to receiving. I accept help easily. I can rest without guilt or shame. I deserve restfulness. I deserve healing. I don't need to earn it. This is just because I exist. Another deep breath in through your nose. We're going to really believe that. And let it go. Another one in through the nose. Out through the mouth. One more time, in through the nose. And out through the mouth. That's just an opportunity for you to notice what it feels like, right? To embody that you are allowed to be cared for, right? You are allowed to receive just by being you. And just notice how you feel. You might feel some resistance with that at first. You might feel awkward. You might not feel like you're embodying it just yet, and that's okay. This, we talked about neuroplasticity in some of our other videos. Our brains begin to change, our realities begin to change, our thought process begins to change, and we can create a new life, but it comes with repetition. It doesn't come from just doing this once or twice, right? Remember the dogs that were in the cage in that experiment that I talked about? You keep having to drag yourself out. You got to keep going back and pulling yourself out. You got to keep saying these things to yourself. You got to keep practicing these practices, and over time you're going to develop new neural pathways. You're going to develop new practices and new habits where this now becomes your reality. So for years, I've only felt valuable when I was performing, when I was doing stuff for other people or achieving something or setting goals, and I thought this was great. I'm like, I'm very goal oriented, I'm a high achiever, and I was able to be super successful in what I was doing, but it was really just a mask to hide my lack of self-worth and self-love and how I really valued myself. But once I really started to slow down and look inward and started to really value myself just for existing, not what I did, not what I looked like, not how I performed, that's when the inner healing really began. I became a better mom, a better friend, a better entrepreneur, better in business, better colleague, better leader, not because of what I was doing, but just by accepting who I am. Not by doing more, but finally feeling like I was enough. So if you're tired of measuring your worth and productivity, you're not alone. So I invite you to join the Sacred Lotus Sanctuary, join our community of women who are here to support each other in this healing and in this embodied wellness, right? We're all here to go from just thriving, or go from surviving into thriving, and go from this journey of constantly healing to being healed. So join our waitlist. The sanctuary is growing. The waitlist is growing. And we have a waitlist on our website. So make sure you join. We're going to open up January 2026. And we can't wait to see you there. All right. Talk soon. Bye.